Hey everyone, it's Carter King. If you're an educator, a leader, or just a parent who wants to teach kids about space, check out my newest book, Carter's Journey Through Space. It's available now on Amazon, Target, and bookstores everywhere. Come explore the universe with me.
Welcome to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King, and the goal of this podcast is simple: to help you create environments where people thrive. Through real conversations, practical strategies, and powerful stories, we equip leaders, educators, and change makers just like yourself to build cultures rooted in purpose, performance, and authenticity. Because culture isn't something you talk about, it's something you live. This is the Contagious Culture Podcast. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King, and the goal of this podcast is simple: to help you create ecosystems and environments where people thrive. Look, today I have somebody on here. Man, it's been a while. We've been trying to work this out for so much time. It's definitely my fault. But this woman is doing just exceptional work. Since the first time that we connected online in the We Are for Good community, she introduced herself, she introduced the work, and she introduced her mission to bring something that's not happening into America, create American roots, but then still be able to transform people in Honduras. Oh my God, it was something that I literally felt chills. So I am so excited for this conversation, so excited for her to be able to talk to you today about the work that she's doing, her story, her journey, and how she's advancing impact within her community. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. Thanks, Kyle. Good to see you.
You as well. Look, before we get started, I just want to know, like, what's your walkout song? Like, you're getting ready to keynote. What's your walkout song that's going to get the crowd rocking and rolling, that best defines like who you are in this moment? Hey, it's Kyle. Sorry to interrupt your programming, but I got a quick culture check for you. How's your team's energy right now? I mean, literally, right now. Are people feeling inspired? Or are they just showing up? See, here's the truth. Culture doesn't change because we talk about it. It changes because we live it actively every single day. And that's what I help organizations do. Build contagious cultures that people actually want to be a part of. Through keynote talks, interactive trainings, and hands-on consulting, I help leaders transform the way their teams connect, perform, and grow. So if your culture needs a little bit of spark, let's light it up together. Visit theculturelab.org, again, theculturelab.org, or connect with me directly on LinkedIn at Kyle S. King to learn more about how we can work together. Because remember, your culture is contagious. Make it worth catching. Now let's get back to the program.
I'm not sure if I have a defining song, but the first one that came to mind that energizes me and I will dance to it whenever it comes on is the song from Mulan, and the Let's Make a Man Out of You, which is obviously not resonant to my own kind of person, nor am I pushing people to do things out of their comfort zone. But I think this idea of we can overcome challenges, we can work together to do that. But honestly, just the energy of the song. I used to listen to it a lot in college to pump me up for finals. And that's what came to mind right now.
I love it. Where'd you go to school?
I went for undergrad to UCLA and for my master's out in Delaware and my Ph.D. at UCSD.
Now, talk to me about the story. Like, I'm sure when you were in college or your high school senior year, this wasn't the dream. Like, there's so many, no one's life that I've ever met is linear. Like, we end up, I feel like, always in our calling and our purpose and the work that really fills our cup on a day-to-day basis. But like, what was the original plan, and how did you then start to craft what you're doing now through your educational experience?
Sure. So I think starting at the origin story, I am first generation American. My dad was born in Romania and in abject poverty, and they moved when he was 6 months old. My mom was born in Canada. They met there and moved to the US before I was born. But, getting to connect with my grandparents and hearing a lot of their stories in, the war and things that they experienced, I just was really cognizant. Maybe I didn't really understand it at a young age, but cognizant of the privilege and opportunity of, being born in the US and what I was going to do with that. And I can't tell you where it came from, but I knew since I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a teacher. And that was the dream. That was the focus. I worked as a teacher's assistant in high school. Anything that I could do was babysitting from a very young age. And fast forward to my first career was as an elementary school teacher in Delaware. I did Teach for America, moved across the country and taught bilingual ed. And all of my students were from Central America and Mexico, and all of their families really, it was the first time I felt a sense of community and connection. And I was just welcomed in and listened. And what they were sharing with me was their stories of resilience and struggle and why they had left. And it kind of planted that seed of what is it that I can do to support and making sure that, families wherever they're coming from and moving have access to a quality education. So that was the original spark. And there's many other roundabouts, but that's how I ended up working in international development.
No, I love that. And, talk to me about like the what now. It's so really cool when I even thinking about like my college career and, my origin story and all of the different things that shaped where I am now. But I do believe as I look back that all of those moments, all of those experiences, all of those educational lessons that you learned prepared you for where you sit now within your current role and season. So where are you now? Like, what is the work that you're doing now, and like what's filling your cup up on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So you see, I wear this little pin here.
Yes.
I have the privilege to share the power of shrimp to change lives in Honduras.
That is such a great statement.
Sounds really strange, but I'm the executive director of Friends of Fundesur. Fundesur is a longstanding foundation in Honduras that it was founded by the shrimp industry and their commitment to the community. And not only are they the largest employer in the region, but for 12 years, they've been donating 2 cents from every pound of shrimp they sell globally to community impact.
Wow.
And that has done incredible things. And now they want to spread and continue to grow that as it's becoming harder and harder to farm shrimp. So that's where I come in, is sharing the story and building partnerships and expanding that reach.
So just from like the educational side, because this is like the student in me, like why is it difficult to farm shrimp? Like what's going on?
Well, my learning about shrimp is still nascent. I've been in this role for 8 months, and I learned that shrimp can jump. So when someone puts it in your hands, make sure to hold on to it, or it'll end up on the floor. And there's your dinner. But shrimp are in the larger context, not wild farming of shrimp, are grown in lagoons, and everything is affected by the temperature and context of the environment. And so as we are noticing changes and shifts in the environment, the little shrimp are also affected by that. So one part of that is environmental change. Another is if you add tariffs or change different political routes for market and sales, it can be very volatile in the industry to be able to sell shrimp globally. They ship to Asia, the UK, the US. And if anything in that supply chain changes, then those are kids that don't receive their backpacks to access school, and children that don't receive medicine that saves lives. So that's where we come in.
Let me ask you this. Why is this work your work? I think that there's always a catalyst to the work that we're doing and why you even chose to work with this organization. Talk to me about like what's the root of why this work is so important to you?
Yeah. Well, I ask myself that a lot. I ask, I think every leader's journey is also trying to determine, like, is this where I am meant to be? Is there someone else that should be leading this work? So this is a constant, self-questioning and identifying. I think it really is just the journey of listening. So it started in listening to the students I had and their families. Then I went to Honduras and was volunteering there, and it was listening to the communities, started working in migration work because that's what they wanted to know. And it's led me back to this. And so I do feel a calling to just, what a gift that people share their stories. I really, sometimes I don't understand why people open up and tell me things that they tell me. But if they do, what am I going to do with that? And so I want to build up this organization for the kids and families that it supports. And if there's individuals that can lead it better, then create the space for them to do that, to lead it to where it's going to go. But for now, this is my charge, and I feel so grateful and excited by that.
How would you define leadership? I think that we use that word, but so many different people would define it differently. Like, how do you define leadership, as well as leadership that is impactful?
I would have to say that leadership is about taking action when there's the choice to do so or not.
That's good.
And we all have those choices on the day-to-day. And I'll give you an example, and this is very far from my current leader role, but I went to a fundraiser. I was volunteering to try and learn, and they raised probably close to $800,000 in that event, which is incredible.
It's incredible.
I walk out, I leave the event, and there is a man setting up his encampment to sleep for the evening at a bus stop. 20 feet from this fundraiser. And one of his boxes that he was using to block the wind out was falling and almost fell into the street. And I just grab it. I say, hey, can I help you put this up? And so we organize his shelter. It was this close to 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And I said, I'm so sorry, I don't have any money to offer you. And he looked me in the eyes. He says, I don't need your money. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being kind and spending this moment with me. And those are the little moments of literacy. We have a literacy program of leadership that stay with me and remind me that I can make change.
Yeah.
Small ways and big ways.
There's so many parts and stories just of people's lives that often don't get the opportunity to be highlighted or marketed. And there's so many things that we potentially even overlook or don't have the time or the platform to share. In your career, in your life, what has been some of those moments or stories that have really stuck with you that you haven't really shared as much as you wish you would have, or you haven't been asked during your career, just during your life as well?
So my dissertation focused on 9 families from Honduras and the experiences of the children as they migrated. So most of them spent between 6 to 18 months in Mexico before they entered the US due to some policy changes. And my focus was on storytelling. We used art methods in order to help children share their story and what they learned from a positive asset-based perspective. What I didn't get to share as much were the stories of the parents. And that wasn't a part of my dissertation. I was focused on education and children, but they wanted to share what was going on for them. And I had mostly mothers come on after I'd been talking to their kids, because this was done during COVID. We do little art clubs online. We do art, we share them with each other. And it's kind of both their and my outlet and savior during that time. And the moms would get on and just talk to me for 30, 45 minutes about what they were struggling with, how their kids, maybe didn't understand all of the sacrifices, but also sharing the little moments of they learned about how spicy the food was and how these interesting cultural differences. So I think those are stories I hold really close to my heart. And I'm still in touch with many of these families today. I just got a photo of the high school graduation of one of the children I worked with. But also, out of protection and privacy, I don't share a lot of the details, because we end up focusing on the trauma and the struggle, which is important to know how politics affects people and all of these things. But I really wanted to highlight the, resilient and the learning. So those are stories that I hold close to my heart, but the gift of that people are willing to share them. So.
Who are you, Maxie? Like, who is the person outside of the titles, the degrees, the education, the background? Like, who are you at your core?
I am a really great friend. I am a future mother. That is a huge piece of how I identify myself. I've been mentally and emotionally preparing for years for that next journey, which will be next year in my life plans.
Yeah.
I'm a salsa dancer. I love the fact that they're so confused why this white girl knows how to move her hips, and I work hard on that.
Hey, it's Kyle. Sorry to interrupt your programming, but I got a quick culture check for you. How's your team's energy right now? I mean, literally, right now. Are people feeling inspired? Or are they just showing up? See, here's the truth. Culture doesn't change because we talk about it. It changes because we live it actively every single day. And that's what I help organizations do. Build contagious cultures that people actually want to be a part of. Through keynote talks, interactive trainings, and hands-on consulting, I help leaders transform the way their teams connect, perform, and grow. So if your culture needs a little bit of spark, let's light it up together. Visit theculturelab.org, again, theculturelab.org, or connect with me directly on LinkedIn at Kyle S. King to learn more about how we can work together. Because remember, your culture is contagious. Make it worth catching. Now let's get back to the...
And yeah, I'm just a global citizen and know the privilege that comes with that, having that American passport and being able to do that, but try and be a conscientious participant in the world. That's who I am.
I believe that we all, anybody listening in and just anybody that I would bring on here is running either towards something or running from something. And I believe that there's so many of us that are on a journey that is going to define the next 20, 30 years of not only our lives, but of the people that we come across. So I'd love to ask you, like, what journey are you running towards? Or what journey are you running from?
I am running towards motherhood, and I'll tell you how this comes up in my work.
Yeah.
So when I have a child, they will be born in San Diego, California, and will have every opportunity life brings.
Yeah.
And just last month, we had a 3-year-old in Montelimar, Honduras, who had dengue and would have died if they didn't get access to medication and healthcare. Yep. And those differences, it just never made sense to me from a very young age. How is it that, this future child, that we won't have to struggle and go through those challenges? And, thankfully, Norlan and his family are fine because we have a public clinic in their community, we have medicine donated, and we have a laboratory. But those interventions change the trajectory. So I'm running towards doing what I can to ensure that, others' experiences are different, understanding I am one human and actually the only full-time staff member of the U.S. organization, which comes, with its challenges, but
definitely
sharing it with you, sharing with the world, inviting others to be a part of it excites me. And I'm excited to share with my future children what we're creating and doing.
I love that. One of the sayings that we have here on the podcast is the energy you bring is the culture you create. Mm-hmm. And I believe that life gives to the giver rather than the taker. And one of the things that I always like to ask, or at least just bring up on our episodes, is like, what can we give as leaders, as listeners, as community to the work that you all are doing? So you can be able to continue to advance that work forward.
Sure. As Friends of Fundesur, we are always fundraising. So what you can do to share the story of shrimp, to share, the impact by following our social media channels, all at Friends of Fundesur, 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 and sharing it with someone that you think might be interested in supporting our work is the greatest gift at this point. You've even done that. You sent me an email introducing me to 3 individuals the other day, and I'm so excited for those conversations that come out of that, because I am so lucky that people are willing to talk behind my back.
That's good. That's good.
In a positive way, hopefully.
I'd love to know this. Everybody goes through a season or a moment that I call their slingshot moment in their lives. That moment that, similar to a slingshot, it pulls you back, and it may stretch you a little bit, but it just propels you forward. For me, that was when I was in college. I was a chemistry major at one point, and I had this professor that exposed me to so many different things and gave me the opportunity to study abroad in Ghana for a few months. And it truly changed the trajectory of my life in so many different ways, even today. And it's led and been the foundation to a lot of the work that I lead today. But what's been your slingshot moment?
I was thinking about this, and it feels like there's been a lot of small moments, but 2 points come up. One, when I was in grad school, there was a heavy level of pushback on individuals who don't have the same identity of the community working in community work. And it pulled me back. I mean, I got a lot of criticism, and I had to learn to understand more of the history of where that comes from.
That's good.
My positionality as an individual, as a white woman in this work and an ally to the Latina community.
Yeah.
What is my space? How do I offer, platforms for others to share their stories? And I'd say it pulled me back for quite a while to really think about that and be challenged and question if I should continue doing this work. And then I'll say one moment, I was volunteering in San Diego when there was an increase in migrant families that were being dropped at bus stations and others, and there was a shelter that was housing them and taking them to the bus stations and helping them figure out their way. And one evening I run across this woman from Honduras. She was 8 months pregnant, start speaking to her and her son. And within, a few minutes, realized that I know her daughter, who's still in Honduras.
Oh my gosh.
That I worked at the school and helped develop teacher training and curriculum to improve quality education at the bilingual school her daughter has been going to. Pick up the phone, call her daughter, and put her on the phone call with her. And they hadn't spoken in months. And just this sense of, my mom's okay. My daughter's okay. There's been so many of those moments that, because of the way the world is, people can't all cross borders. And the privilege I have is that I can. And what can I bring with that? Can I bring connection? Can I bring change? Can I bring a phone call from a mother to a daughter? A similar experience in Honduras. I visited a daughter of someone I had worked with in Mexico. They've been separated for 3 years. And the daughter just was so excited to see somebody that her mom knew. And we spent the day together, and we had all of these experiences. And it shouldn't be like that. And those are the moments that propel me to continue to do the work.
That is so good. Oh my gosh. For those that want to do more work, for those that are on their own journey, what would be your advice? What's your 60-second advice for them to just keep that fire burning, for them to remember what matters, for them to just keep doing this work intentionally?
2 things. Open your ears and listen to your community and see if there's one small thing that you can do on a weekly basis. Let's not say on a daily, if that feels overwhelming, to just make a small change for someone. And the other would be taking care of yourself. I've definitely learned that the hard way, especially when you're working in service and care. Both, it can be primary and it can end up being secondary trauma. And if you burn out, you can't do anything else to support others. So I'm on a journey of, I now meditate every day for the last 5 years. Before that, I had no way to process any of the grief and stories. And it has changed the trajectory of my life. So take care of yourself in whatever way that can be.
Maxie, where can people find you? Like, how can our listeners continue to engage and uplift and just amplify the work that you all are doing?
That would be a gift. On all platforms, and our website is Friends of Fundesur. So fund, ESUR, and what it means is Foundation of Southern Honduras. So Friends of Fundesur, FUNDESUR.org, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the channels. I'm learning a lot about social media. Thanks to all the people who've been supporting.
This is an amazing work that you're doing. You're an amazing human being. I appreciate you so much for sharing your time with me today. I'm so excited to touch base with you soon so that I can hear about the amazing work that you're, and even the education that you're going to learn at the conference that you're at over the next few, days. Is it days or is it just today?
Just today.
Okay. No, and I'm just so excited for you to continue to do this work. And any of our listeners, I want you to go to the website and I want you to donate. I want you to identify some time in your own calendar to set some time with Maxie to learn about the work and identify how you can be able to use your time, your talent, your treasure, your ties, so that you could be able to really help to advance the work that they're doing forward. And I'm super excited to be able to be there in October in the next few months. So for our listeners, if you like this episode just as much as I have, oh my God, like it, subscribe, and continue to share this with someone in your world. Remember this, the energy you bring is the culture you create, and go make yours worth sharing. We will see you guys next episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Contagious Culture Podcast. If this episode challenged or inspired you, hey, take a second to share it with someone who's building culture in their world. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps more leaders, educators, and change makers just like yourself join the movement. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or YouTube at Kyle S. King for more tips, tools, and methodologies to be able to help you create this ecosystem of absolute excellence. Until next time, lead boldly, live intentionally, and remember, your culture is contagious. Make it worth catching.